Hello, true duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and as always, welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Update. Starting strong with the never-ending train of YCSs, with tomorrow being the start of both the Team YCS Quito in Ecuador, as well as YCS Utrecht in the Netherlands. The first YCSs to play under the October 3rd ban list, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's our first look at how strong tiers will be in the new format. I cannot wait to report to you all of that and more now next week's update. In the meantime, we do have some mild YCS drama in regards to the news this week. You see, Konami of Europe has announced YCS Dortmund, which I've probably said wrong and will say wrong again in this video. Set to take place the weekend of November 11th through to the 13th in Germany. A German YCS. Surely the European players, and in particular German players, are excited. Yeah, but also no. You see, this is a month away, meaning players have far less time to plan for the event in regards to decks or booking hotels and all the different sorts of things that are required for planning such a trip to such a large event. Or even worse, some players can only afford to go to one such trip in such a short window of time, and where they had already booked and spent time and money into going to Utrecht, they maybe could have saved some money by going to a closer locals in Dortmund or who knows what. Or maybe they just would have preferred to go to Germany. I don't know what's in the Netherlands. I don't know what's in Germany. Bunch of European things. I'm willing to bet some buildings. Either way, it's unfortunate to say the least. It's not horrible on Konami's end, and I'm sure, giving them the benefit of the doubt, they would have preferred to announce this event at the earliest possible moment. And that it's just an unfortunate reality that the earliest possible moment was so late relative to people planning for the event. It just sucks for European players ultimately. Still, if you can go to both, I'd say it's nicer to have more events in your options than less. Fewer? Tickets for YCS Dortmund went on sale this past Wednesday the 12th for those of you who might be interested. In card news, I have put out yet another new card report this week, as good Christ, the new cards just did not stop. And they really did not. I'll get to some more later. Of particular note in that video though, the new quick play spell that's Discount Dimensional Barrier, or No Material Plus, depending on however you want to view it, as well as new alt arts for fan favorites of both the cool and the horny. All covered in that video and more. So if interested, feel free to check that out right there. And even with that 25-minute piece of time theft I posted to the internet, there are still more new cards. Yes, the Traptrix structure deck from the OCG has had 4 of its new cards revealed, and they're not too shabby. Traptrix Pingula. Yeah, we're going with that one. A rank 4 exceeds needing 2 level 4 monsters and is unaffected by trap cards as well as the effects of monsters activated with the same type as any of its own materials. That's an interesting little way to avoid some card effects, I suppose. Once per turn, you can detach a material to add a Traptrix monster from your deck to your hand, because Gear Gigant X is still a solid card even all these years later. And its last effect states that if a monster owned by the opponent is sent to the grave or banished by a card effect, you can attach that monster to this card as a material. That's not terrible, as it means to stop future disruptions the opponent might have, and it can only lose to Ash once in that capacity. Plus, with 2500 attack, it ain't bad. Matter of fact, looking at it, I think that's inverse from Rafflesia's stats. Either way, that coupled with the fact that if attaching the ash prevents it from being ashed, and then you can detach other materials to keep searching your Traptrix, that's a pretty solid start to these structure deck cards. Traptrix Arachnocampa is a new level 4, and like all Traptrix monsters before it, is unaffected by whole normal trap cards, and makes it so the first time each set card in your spell and trap card zone would be destroyed, it's not. And that is not too shabby. Even better, during the main phase, if you control a Traptrix monster, you can quick effect summon this card from your hand at the cost of locking you into only summoning plants or insects from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. That's great for link climbing or just giving the deck an easy means to make one of their Xyz turn 1, but it being a quick effect means you can chain it to an activated Twin Twister or Lightning Storm or anything of the sort in the opponent's main phase just to get them to waste resources or effects. I can respect that, almost as much as I hate the artwork. Delusion Trap Hole is the new whole normal trap card we're getting that says if the opponent has special summoned a monster the turn you use it, can target a monster with 2,000 or more attack, destroy it, and if you have a whole normal trap card in your graveyard, you can then banish a monster from their graveyard as well. Probably not as good as it needed to be a new staple of sorts, but not a bad card by any stretch. A pop and a DD Crow could definitely end a turn at the right time, and I'm sure this will fuck me over at some point in the future, just so I can have eaten my own words. And lastly revealed thus far is Traptrix Adidas. It's not how it's pronounced, but how I'm pronouncing it. A new Link 3 with only 1800 attack, which is kinda whack. It needs any 2 or more monsters as Link material, with at least one of them being an insect or plant to summon. If it's Link summoned, it's unaffected by traps and will give all Traptrix monsters 1000 attack while you have a normal trap card in your graveyard. That's why it's weak, because it's actually kinda solid. I get it. And once per turn, it can target face-up cards the opponent controls equal to the number of insects and plants you control to negate their effects for the turn. After which, you can then banish a normal trap from your graveyard to destroy one of the targeted cards if you so choose. This seems pretty solid. I mean, making Mermelio a 2600 beater on normal will definitely make easier OTKs for the deck, and I love that it just needs any normal trap as opposed to a trap hole specifically, just a touch easier to be better. I like it when Konami goes around making good cards good without making them broken. I enjoy playing the game. It's crazy, I know. All in all, these are some solid new pieces of support for the deck, and I like what they bring. Part of me does hate control decks, as a primarily combo player myself, but real recognizes real, you know? I like... I said that. I do also like that the extra deck monsters are immune to impermanence, if only to stop me spamming that card at 3 into every one of my decks without thinking or care for card diversity in any sense of the term. I will hate that once I play against this deck, however, but in the hypothetical, I respect it. Now for us here in TCG land, don't worry, this deck is not getting the agent treatment, where it's disassembled into Ghosts from the Past 3 or whatever April set we'll be getting this year is. No, the TCG has confirmed that we will be getting this deck on February the 24th of 2023. Yes, being advertised as featuring the popular Traptrix strategy from Master Duel, this deck will contain iconic trap cards and many trap hole cards according to the marketing. And if I'm not mistaken, the Link 1 could use a reprint, so that will be nice, assuming we get it. I fully support this move by Konami, as this is clearly a sting operation by the FBI to arrest every single person that attempts to buy this deck, because as everyone knows, if you play Traptrix, you're a pedophile. Report it to the school boards immediately. Really though, I do like the playstyle of Control. I'm just really not a big fan of the artwork of this deck in specific. Such a tragedy. In other product news, OTS Pack 20 had its full set revealed, and as is always the hypest, the ultimate rares are confirmed. Alongside the already known Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, we'll also be getting ultimate rare printings of Sky Striker Ray, 3 years too late, and Aluber, because apparently we need to punish each and every individual who bought the Dawn of Majesty print of that card for $150 at its peak. Also in the packs are reprints of Nico Man King, a card previously bought out from Dark World hype, and Grave of the Super Ancient Organism, a solid side deck tech with not nearly enough printings. All in all, not the best OTS pack we've had, but far from the worst. Say the line, Dyatlov.
Not great, not terrible.
You're goddamn right. Darkwing Blast is set to drop next week. The set drops on October 20th for players in Europe and the 21st for players in North America, and the full set has been confirmed for the TCG. Notable secret rares include the new Spellbound Quick Play Stun card, Bestial Lubellion, the new Sprite Link 2 monster, because Ronin's fucking dead, the Labyrinth Knight monster that too many of you are too horny for, the Tearlaments Fusion that they don't need, but they're already the best deck, so why not, and the Link 4 waiting to be broken Zealantis, which I really love that name. Blackwing got a lot of ultra rares in their card pool, and the Kashitra monsters, formerly known as the Shashri-La, got a bunch of ultra rare slots as well. For those curious about the Starlight Rares, the 4 bumped into Starlight Rarity as well as their normal print are Tearlament's Rukalos, Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous, and Mitsu the Insect Ninja. The bonus Starlight is, fittingly enough, Black Winged Dragon. All in all, seems like a pretty solid set, and money provided, I may just grab myself a box and pray that I don't pull Muckracker from the underworld as one of my secrets. In merch news, were you looking for a pair of Yugioh Adidas shoes? Fuck you, they all sold out pretty much immediately. Were more sneakerheads annoyed that Yu-Gi-Oh fans got the special edition shoes? Or were more Yu-Gi-Oh fans annoyed that sneakerheads got the special edition shoes? Both were, probably, because there's no such thing as joy on the internet. Unfortunately, the same was the case for the Rescue Rabbit plush from New York Comic Con. From what I can gather, they weren't the easiest to get a hold of at the event, and when being sold on the secondhand market, the price is a bit rich for my blood. Because I want the bunny, but more than anything, I don't want to have to spend $600 for one. I've seen them go as high as $750 for one, and all I can say is that a few years ago, I made a joke about a playset of Dark Destroyers costing $600 and being my entire rent, which is funny in the present day. Either way, that's way too much money for not enough bunny, and that's just the damn truth. That being said, there is clearly a demand for these, and I don't understand why Konami would refuse to make bank on them. How can Konami, the TCG, the company of all companies, not want free money from this? Please, Konami, I just want a bunny. Well, in Copium merch news, you can forget the bunny because you're not going to get one, but you can maybe get yourself a 7-inch skull Funko Pop instead. Yes, more Funko Pop merch, and like the 5-headed Funko before it, this one is one of the few Funkos that I don't really hate. Does not look terrible to me, and if those green beady eyes are soulless, it's pretty on brand for the demon skeleton monster. I am kidding, of course. If I'm not mistaken, this is another convention exclusive sometime in the winter from what I can gather, so don't get your hopes up about getting this one either. Don't consume products, just buy cards. Come on now, folks. In Master Duel news, some big updates to the game are set to happen. The Salamangreat structure deck released on the 11th earlier this week for anyone interested in playing that, and a new selection pack has been added that added the new Ice Jade support, and more interestingly, Marincess support for any of you Marincess players out there. For me, there's also the Kairyu Shin support, or Goes and Match on Legs, that is awful to play against, but need to be playing, so morally, I'm in the right, and you're the jerk for complaining in any capacity, okay? I'm the nice man when I lock you out of playing Yu-Gi-Oh, but you're an asshole for playing Flu, and we all know that's the truth. I don't make the rules, I just state them out loud on my parody news show. Also released this week were a Gazelle Mate, which is a term I still hate using for the buddies in Master Duel, as well as new sleeves and a Water Enchantress icon. Data leaks have also shown that we can expect a new Super Sleeve set to be coming out, which are just regular Sky Striker sleeves from what I can tell, and the announcement of a new event, Special Duels Link Regulation. The event will have special Link blue sleeves, 6 new titles, a Link Master icon frame, and 1,800 gems, all available as prizes. As for what it is, regular duels with a special ban list, as far as I can tell. I can't see a clear theme in what's been hit. I only know Cleefort Scout is banned in it, which is morally correct because of how Cleefort was played in 2014. And lastly, for Master Duel news, the first updates to the time have been implemented as of the 11th as well, namely that the limit for the beginning of a duel is now 300 seconds, with players gaining up to 90 seconds at the beginning of their turns, as long as the timer will not exceed 300, provided they get the full 90. This will be modified again in November to give you 60 seconds at the start of your turn and then 30 seconds during your opponent's turn. Seems like a solid change to me. The number one thing people complain about is 20-minute combo turn ones, so this will at least combat that somewhat. And if you are someone who plays a long combo deck such as Synchron, well, as a fellow Synchron player, all I can say to you is do better. That seems to be Konami's advice on it as well. In community news, I gotta give credit where it is due. In a Twitter thread discussing the new Spellbound quick play from Gage, YCS champion and banned player Chris Lofton hit Gage with a tried and true, "You don't get it, Gage, it's a card for competitive players." with some light disrespect sprinkled in, you know, camaraderie as it is. To which Gage replied, technically it's a card for people that can actually play at tournaments. God damn, that heat merits some respect. Obviously, this led to 412 drama videos in response to one another, and could not at all have been just some friendly ribbing and banter online between friends. But goddamn, was that line not too good to it was too good not to share. I like it. Kudos to Gage. In some good news, Team APS, one of the goats of Yugi tubing, has reached 500,000 subscribers this past week. A very much well-deserved win for the team. They've been making Yu-Gi-Oh content since I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh back in 2009, and you love to see a win for the boys back home. They're an inspiration and a good role model for the community, and congrats go to them. Can't wait to report on it when they eventually reach 1 million. And lastly for this week's update, it's my channel, and it's about potential monetization things. I haven't written out a script for this in any capacity, so forgive my off-the-cuff ramblings here, if you will. But I am thinking about adding membership perks for this channel, or whatever those are that YouTube keeps insisting I do on my channel. The only thing is, provided you actually want to give me money, which I do not insist upon in any capacity. As far as I'm concerned, you go to your job, you get your paycheck, you spend your money on what you want. Your cards, your new shoes, your anything. No one at any point is under any obligation to fund me. The glory of YouTube is that you can watch videos such as this completely for free at your home. But I would like to do it for a living, so I think, you know, opening up the offer for anyone who's willing is a fair middle ground. I don't ask anyone to, but I'll provide it. Yeah, why not? Shoot your shot and all that. Point is, if there is going to be a membership thing for my YouTube channel or a Patreon or whatever, what sort of content can I provide to you that you might be interested in to make it more worth your buck? Because I don't want to just take money and give nothing. I would like there to be some form of exchange so I don't feel like I'm just scamming people. I'm going to think of some stuff for myself, but I figure I'd ask the audience. You all know better what you want than I ever could. And speaking of money, there is the potential that sponsorships could come to this channel in the near enough future. I'm by no means big time yet, but I've had an offer or two show up weirdly enough. Obviously, it wouldn't be just anything. It would be of something I'm actually willing to, you know, chill out for, but actually support anyways. Still, the point is, at some point, sponsorships might show up. I'd like to get the audience's feel for that, if that's okay. I'd try to fit it in as organically or as entertainingly as I can. I don't believe that ads have to be boring. If you've ever watched an internet historian video, you can tell you can make some pretty entertaining ads, and some pretty effective ones at that. But either way, I'd like to get my audience's feel for it, because it's slowly starting to snowball into the world of not just hypothetical, but maybe practical, that I get a sponsorship or two in the near enough future, at least according to emails, if I trust strangers contacting me on the internet. We'll see how it all goes. Either way, I figured I'd ask you, and more importantly than that, I'm wrapping up this video, because that is it for this week's update. As always, I've been your host, Craig Fee, and make sure you subscribe to Yugioh Strats for next week's update, and so you too can be a true duelist.